The News 3 investigation is digging into Virginia's compensation for people who were wrongly convicted.
Now, according to the National Registry of Exonerations, there have been 68 exonerations in Virginia since 1989, and that's a total of 606 years lost.
News 3 investigator Jessica Larche breaks down the debate on how much our state is willing to pay the innocent.
Right now, Virginia pays an exonerated person $55,000 per year of wrongful incarceration. But according to data highlighted in this House of Delegates report, other states like Texas pay more at $97,262 per year. The national average is $70,157 per year. Now, Virginia is not the worst, but we are far from the best. And now the University of Virginia Innocence Project is calling on state leaders to do more. It's an investigation you'll only see on 3.
I was having nightmares of the things that I've seen in prison.
Emerson Stevens spent 30 years in prison for a murder he did not commit.
I had a family, and I lost it all once I went to prison for a crime that somebody else committed.
Former Governor Ralph Northam pardoned him last year, and on July 1st, the state will compensate Stevens nearly $1.7 million for his time in prison.
I can unequivocally say no, it is not enough.
UVA Innocence Project attorney Juliet Hatchett says what Stevens and the rest of the wrongfully incarcerated in Virginia receive in compensation from the Commonwealth is below some other states.
Do we really want Virginia to be anything but at the front of the pack in terms of how we treat our citizens who've been so badly wronged?
Democratic Delegate Rip Sullivan introduced legislation this year to increase payouts. But stick around. We'll reveal the roadblock he says watered down his efforts.
I mean, it's baffling.
But first, Emerson Stevens' story. In 1986, prosecutors in Lancaster convinced a jury that Stevens used this cinder block and chain to submerge 24-year-old Mary Harding's body in the Rappahannock River. Stevens barely knew her, and he had an alibi, but prosecutors insisted a hair found in his truck matched hers. The jury sentenced him to 164 years in prison. Did you ever lose hope that you would be free one day?
I said, well, one day I'll find someone that will take my case that will get me out of prison, because I knew I was innocent.
When attorneys with the Innocence Project took his case in 2010, they learned the hair comparison method was scientifically unreliable. The prosecution's main witness lied during testimony, and the lead investigator had a documented history of misconduct. The wrongdoings all laid out in the General Assembly's budget bill to compensate Stevens.
It don't bring back the years that I spent in prison, but I can live the rest of my life out living comfortable.
Up until this year in Virginia, wrongfully incarcerated people who received an absolute pardon from the governor or were exonerated in the court system were compensated $46,895 for each year of imprisonment.
This is a really important bill.
Delegate Sullivan introduced a bill to increase compensation for the innocent.
Y'all don't get what we went through.
Several wrongfully incarcerated Virginians
I didn't ask for any of this.
Pleaded with lawmakers during a committee hearing on the bill in January.
Not just look at it like it's another number or, somebody trying to get over, but we need help for real.
But Republican Delegate Rob Bell voiced some opposition to Sullivan's ideas.
We're going to start proposing changes and things about the bill.
Sullivan says he made compromises to get something passed. The original bill aimed to increase compensation to around $81,000 per year of incarceration. Talks with Republicans whittled it down to $55,000 a year. Sullivan also wanted exonerated people to get all of their money up front instead of it being stretched over 25 years. While Sullivan and Bell agreed anyone over 60, like Emerson Stevens, would get all their money at once, anyone younger now gets their money over a 10-year period.
I think we improved the system, but we have a long way still to go.
We all deserve more than what the state of Virginia is offering us.
While Stevens is grateful for the compensation coming from the Commonwealth, no amount of money can get back the years he and dozens more like him have lost.
We didn't deserve to be falsely accused and sent to prison. We didn't deserve that.
No, they didn't deserve that. Delegate Sullivan says everyone in the General Assembly agrees the innocent should be compensated. They just break down on the amount. He hopes they can agree to pay out larger amounts next session. Now, we did reach out repeatedly to Republican Delegate Rob Bell about this, but we never heard back. As for Emerson Stevens, he says he plans to use the money he's getting next month to retire and help his grandchildren. Jessica Larche, News 3.